Look like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her infamous 22 number to a new one. Guys, for this.
Recently, Sue Bird experienced an unplanned public breakdown. Caitlin Clark reportedly threatened to leave Team USA if they wouldn't let her wear her well-known number 22. Sue's remark has really astonished the basketball community. Despite the executive director of Team USA's best attempts to limit the harm, the situation is quickly getting worse. This might be the biggest problem facing women's basketball in a long time. Before we talk about Sue Bird's answer and what Caitlin is thought to have said behind closed doors, please let me know in the comments. If you were Caitlin, would you quit Team USA because of a number? Because the current state of affairs could irrevocably change the future of USA basketball.
Because we ultimately know she was snubbed from the cover of Team USA. And not only is they snubbing her, the disrespect is continuing because it's looking like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her number. Now, this article has...
All right, so Team USA basketball just created the worst problem in women's basketball, and they did it to themselves. For their December training camp, they forced the current undisputed face of the sport, Caitlin Clark, to give up her iconic number 22. In addition, Caitlin basically said, "If I can't wear my number, I'm not coming." Sue Bird, the executive director of Team USA, is supposedly going crazy in an effort to comprehend how this scenario got so out of control, according to people close to the affair. Let's be really clear about this. This goes beyond simply changing the number. This is seen as a blatantly disrespectful conduct towards the celebrity who, on her alone, brought millions of new followers to women's basketball. The player, whose name is currently more well-known than the sport itself, is being told that she must give up her most recognizable insignia. Because of this choice, fans, experts, and everyone else are questioning if Team USA really understands what they have in Caitlin Clark.
Honestly, I'm not a very creative person. I was born on January 22nd, so it's what I went with when I was about 5 years old.
The startling disclosure was made right before Team USA's crucial training camp, which will take place in North Carolina from December 12th to 14th and feature famous people like Paige Bueckers and Guji Watkins. The goal of this camp was to honor and showcase the greatest talent on the planet. Instead, it soon became the scene of an odd and, to be honest, bizarre controversy that could result in the biggest name in basketball declining to participate. This shocking restriction, which would effectively deny Clark the number that has come to symbolize both her dominant WNBA performances and her record-breaking collegiate career, started to come to light. Given its date, this decision is even more confusing. Her passionate and rapidly growing fan base is even more outraged because it coincides with the global growth of her popularity. These supporters are now pleading with Caitlin to uphold her values and refrain from compromising on a crucial aspect of her brand.
Hey, the Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, number 22 is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There is no argument to be made. There's no case to be made. Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number for any woman athlete.
Avoid making any mistakes at all. There's more to the number 22 on Caitlin Clark's jersey than meets the eye. It is without a doubt the most recognizable number in all women's sports right now. Ignore it. There is no disagreement. There is no plausible argument that can dispute this unquestionable fact. Her identity now revolves around the number 22. From her brilliant WNBA career with the Indiana Fever to her outstanding performances at the University of Iowa, fans instantly identify this beacon as a sign from the nosebleed seats in arenas and on television screens worldwide. For the millions of people who follow her, it's more than just a number on a shirt. In real time, a legacy is being built. Her remarkable biography, her entire brand, and the compelling story of her journey are all strongly and closely connected to that number. At the Team USA training camp, it epitomizes the audacious long-range three-pointers, the almost psychic court vision, and the unwavering will to win that have captivated a significant following that extends well beyond the normal basketball fan base. The number 17 will dawn on Clark.
Number 17 at Team USA training camp on December 24th. News broke that Caitlin Clark will be taking a part in the training, which that's what we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, this right here this came out this came out on the 24th. So these are the numbers, man. Head on over to Twitter and check this out real quick. So this is what was released right here. It says Lauren Betts. Hold on. Here's the ages. Where's the number? Here we go. Right here. So these are the numbers. Caitlin Clark. Let me blow this all the way up, man. I want to blow this all the way up so y'all can see this. So as y'all can see there, man, how did Caitlin Clark number will be changed? So who's wearing 22? Or if you guys remember Michael Jordan, who number 45 in the Olympics, could Caitlin, because it don't look like no one's wearing number 22. It don't look like no one's wearing number 20.
She has actually come to be linked with the number 22, just like Wayne Gretzky is always connected with 99 or Michael Jordan with 23. Demanding a change at this point in her career looks like a deliberate attempt to destroy the very strong bond she has formed. Everyone is left wondering what the motivation might be for this baffling and confused action. Unless, of course, the motivation is exactly what it seems to be: asserting control over a player who has become bigger than the business. This irritates Caitlin's admirers even more. It seems like USA Basketball has undervalued her remarkable influence on the game in the past. Remember how, earlier this year, she was conspicuously, almost shockingly, left off of the Olympic squad? Given her undeniable appeal on a global scale and the massive television viewership numbers she always attracts, observers were confused by this blatant absence. This pattern of either disregarding or purposefully denigrating her status as a rising star has led to a growing suspicion that there is a deeper, more complex agenda at work. The company could be hesitant to embrace the revolutionary game share that she so clearly exemplifies. Because none of this makes sense in light of the facts unless you consider the prospect that Team USA could be threatened by Caitlin's enhanced power. So, what number were they trying to force her to wear? Caitlin Clark will wear number 17 at the upcoming training camp in the United States, according to official reports. 17. Now, even though it's only a random number on its own, its true significance lies in the fact that it's not at all 22. There are several problems with this forced transformation, especially considering how well-known her brand is. You have to question if the company is intentionally trying to show who is in charge, or if it's just an out-of-touch decision that completely ignores the cultural significance of her well-known brand. Clark seemed to be receiving an unsettlingly clear message. You don't receive preferential treatment due to your popularity, regardless of how you measure it. We are in control. According to reports, Caitlin remarked, "Then I don't need to be here." In reaction, Caitlin's supporters are even more irritated by the startling revelation that virtually no one on the USA Basketball training camp roster will be wearing number 22. It's not like a seasoned player or a famous person with an unquestionable claim to the number has already claimed it, so take a moment to think about that. All that is being done is leaving the number underutilized, empty, and available. This one factor completely alters the incident. It changes from a potential roster dispute or a simple logistical issue to what seems to be an overt, undeniable act of perceived marginalization against the most important and popular player of her generation. If no one else is wearing the number, why force Caitlin to change? Logic is absent. The argument completely breaks down. For this very reason, Caitlin is supposed to have drawn her line in the sand. Sue Bird is currently dealing with the consequences of her decision. As the general director of Team USA Basketball, Sue is responsible for shaping the team's future. She herself chose the boys for this training camp. It is anticipated that she will be cultivating the next generation of American basketball greatness. Rather, she is dealing with a disaster that Team USA is entirely too responsible for because forcing her biggest celebrity to make a compromise was always going to explode up in their faces. Very fundamental to her character. Sue Bird reportedly reacted in a variety of ways, from angry to afraid. Sources claim that she has been working behind the scenes to figure out how to keep Caitlin in the fold without completely undermining the capricious policy that first led to this catastrophe. But here's the problem. Caitlin has total control over this situation. She doesn't need Team USA. Team USA is in dire need of her. Think about it. Already, Caitlin is a champion. She has already broken records. She has already made a lasting impact on women's basketball. As of right now, she is the most marketable player. What does she truly stand to gain if Team USA insults her brand while she plays? She doesn't need the Olympic glory to survive. With her global experience, she has already proven her ability on many fronts. The honor of representing her country is reduced when the Basketball Federation operates as if you are replaceable. If Caitlin chooses not to play, what does Team USA lose in the interim? Everything. They've lost their biggest attraction. They lose the player who raises awareness of women's basketball. They lose the athlete who fills venues and increases TV viewership. The face of the next generation is gone. Subbard knows this. The situation is supposedly making her lose it behind the scenes, which emphasizes Team USA's actual lack of influence. This specific instance also sharply highlights the broader contempt that women in sports, particularly in the WNBA, regularly endure. It is directly tied to the ongoing struggles for equitable pay, better working conditions, and more recognition for their incredible sporting accomplishments.
Think about it.
The league as a whole suffers when the most well-known and visible figure in the sport is treated in this way. It highlights long-standing complaints and the deeply rooted institutional issues that still plague women's basketball. These widespread problems are further highlighted by the ongoing contentious discussions around the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement and the very real possibility of a lockout. The players are becoming more outspoken about feeling greatly undervalued by team owners and regulatory authorities despite the league's recent and remarkable rise in popularity. They point to a sharp discrepancy between their enormous contributions to the growth of sports and the respect and money they actually receive. As a result, this change in the number is not unique. It's only one piece of evidence in a larger narrative concerning the apparent contempt for the true worth of female athletes. The gamers are tired of constantly fighting for basic respect. Furthermore, when the most well-known athlete in the sport, Caitlin Clark, allegedly says, "Enough is enough," it sends a powerful message to the other players who are watching. You don't have to tolerate disrespect just because it originates from a well-known organization. It's true that some players wear the number 22. Additionally, Caitlin wears it, as do other exceptional players like Cameron Brink and Wilson, a talented and well-respected veteran. This fact has historically sparked debates over how such well-known players might divide the number, especially when it comes to all-star games. However, this is the primary difference. It was more about who would respectfully yield when both players were present than it was about depriving one of the biggest stars in the game of her signature number without a legitimate issue. The previous year, when Clark was sidelined by injury, this potential number battle between Wilson and Clark for an all-star spot was easily avoided. This indicates that the hypothetical situation in which they shared or settled on the number actually happened. Now, it appears that USA Basketball took the proactive step of assigning Clark to a new number in order to address a hypothetical problem without looking to need to take such a severe and controversial move. They're also learning